Hello there, Andrea Nordling from the Profitable Nutritionist, where we help holistic nutritionists and health coaches to make more money in less time without relying on social media. Just kind of the best. So if that's what you need, head on over to theprofitablenutritionist.com, click around and get on our email list so we can send you emails with all of the valuable free resources that we produce every single week at TPN to help you to do all of the things in your business. We would love to support you. So Ask Me Anything videos are one of the most fun things that I get to do month to month, where I answer the questions, personal or business related, that come in. It's true Ask Me Anything style. I never know what kind of questions they're going to be. But here's a really fun one. How did you fund your business initially? Let's think way, way, way back to 2015 in my nutrition business. This wasn't my first business. I actually have a background in real estate and started selling real estate when I was 22, and then opened my own real estate brokerage when I was 26, I believe, and grew that for many years. So my nutrition business in 2015, we're going to skip forward to 2015, talk about the beginning of my nutritional therapy practice. And that business was not my first business, but I made some notes here so that I could answer this question. I recall paying for my nutritional therapy practitioner certification in 2015, which I think was like $3,000, maybe $5,000 at that time, $3,500, something like that stands out in my mind. I think it was something like that. And that was paid for with our personal funds from, my husband and my personal funds. I never expected that to be a business. I went into that certification program to learn how to heal my own body and to feed my family better. So I didn't know that I was starting up a business with those funds. I thought I was taking a year-long certification program that was going to just help us as a family. But I guess that was really the startup of that business. So the first 6 months of my business, when I graduated with that certification in 2016, like mid 2016, the first 6 months of my business, by this time I had decided, no, I'm not going to sell real estate anymore. The whole world needs to know how nutrition has changed my life. Everybody needs to know about this. Holy cow, this is my new path. The first 6 months of that all would have been funded from our personal funds. And I think that might have been about $5,000 total, which was me getting a website started up, some subscriptions on different softwares, just a few, and some online courses. And then I did invest in a program called Restart, which was a license of a 5-week sugar detox program. That there was a startup of that. I don't remember how much that was. Less than $1,000, I think, for that. But I'm going to estimate it was about $5,000 total for me to get my business up and running. And that was taking some courses and stuff too. And then that came out of our personal funds, as I recall. And from that point on, when I was up and running, started selling some Restart classes and some one-on-ones, and then very quickly an online course that did not go very well, but that was my intention, was this first online course. I funded everything that I invested in the business from then on out with things I was selling. So I was selling enough to keep reinvesting in the business to get more courses or to get more help or better website, like softwares, that kind of thing. I was not paying myself consistently, or maybe even at all, to be honest, the first few years. As I was making notes on this to answer this question, I was like, oh, I wonder if I ever even paid back our personal funds from my certification and from those first 6 months or so. I maybe never even did that. Was not paying myself consistently until 2020. So what I would do differently, that's how I funded my business. Basically, I had some startup capital from our personal funds, put that in, and just incrementally made some money, reinvested, made some money, reinvested, which was probably very frustrating for my husband because he didn't see the fruits of any of these labors for years in my business. I was working all the time. I mean, I say that I was working a lot. I was putting all my blood, sweat, and tears into it. My excitement, my energy, all of it was in this thing that I could see coming together and getting better. And from his point of view, he was like, where is the money? How come we're not making any money? You're reinvesting everything in the business. Is this ever going to come together? When are you going to go sell houses again? So what I would do differently, and what I teach to my clients, is implementing a system called Profit First. If you've never read the book Profit First, I should have grabbed it and had it out here to show you. It's a great book, very easy read, to get organized with percentages right away in your business. So even if you aren't profitable at the beginning, And a lot of people aren't, and that's okay. At least you know what your numbers are. You have a baseline and you can see where to improve. But if you don't know your expenses, you don't know your tax percentages, for example, or anything like that, you are fighting an uphill battle. And this is what I did for years. I was disorganized and I just, like, if there was money in the account, I would spend it and it all kind of worked out, but I wasn't paying myself because that wasn't a priority and it should have been a priority. So, little plug here for the Profitable Nutritionist Program or the Streamline and Scale Mastermind, both of the programs that I support clients in. That is what you learn in those programs. And there's no right or wrong way. We teach you how to come in and get what you came for in any container with any program that you buy, any certification, anything like that, so that you can maximize your business investments. And that's not only in my programs, but in anything that you invest in. You want to maximize those investments. You want to see them pay back into your personal accounts, not only into your business account. But to answer this question even more succinctly, which is how did you fund your business initially? I went into debt, I guess, because I borrowed against our personal finances. And I think people have a lot of thoughts about that, about business debt and consumer debt. And I just want to offer that there's no right or wrong way to do this. But business debt isn't the same as consumer debt. And so if you're really opposed to having any sort of debt in your life, just ponder for a second the difference in going on a shopping spree that goes on a credit card and having that kind of debt versus investing in some sort of asset for your business that is going to make you money. Something that you go to Lululemon and you charge up your credit card, that's not going to make you money. But investing in a coaching program or in a really good software system or something like a program that's going to really help your clients, that kind of thing is going to make you more money. So it's different. Like, think about those two things differently. I have had clients that take out loans against their retirement accounts or their pensions, take advances on retirement accounts, obviously use credit cards, and they make it happen. And they figure out what the investment is for their business, what it's going to cost them to get started. They make the investment and they trust themselves to pay that investment off. Everybody has a little bit different risk tolerance. So what that looks like for you in your situation, I don't know. But I would just say that business debt is different than personal debt because business debt makes you money. You know how to maximize those investments. So funding your business initially, no right or wrong way. I would say get creative and have a plan for how you are going to pay it back, regardless of if it is you funding it or a different way. How are you going to pay it back? Profit First, I think, is a great system for implementing that. And come into the Profitable Nutritionist Program where this is what we talk about all the time. And we have lots of frameworks and help to support you in doing that.